Welcome to Priceless Takes.
And we are live from Brisbane, Australia. Welcome back, everyone, to Priceless Takes, episode 30. I'm joined today by my three amazing guests, Oscar Hardcastle, Tyson McMullen, and Reuben Lind, making his second appearance on the show. Welcome back, guys. How are you all today?
Very, very good.
Right.
Fantastic.
Well,
That's good. That's good. Listen, it feels great to be back in sunny Brisbane, Australia, as opposed to South Carolina, which is equally just as nice. But the one thing that has remained the same is the NBA playoffs, and that is what we're going to be talking about today. We are getting right into the thick of things. In the second round, we have all four series currently either tied or the other team having a one-game advantage. So there aren't any clear victors so far, but we will get straight into the thick of things, guys. We're going to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, who face off in Game 4 tomorrow. The Lakers won Game 3, 127-97, and they look to go up 3-1 in the series tomorrow. Anthony Davis led all scorers with 25, while LeBron and D'Angelo Russell both had 21, while Steph and Clay only combined for 38 points. Now, for the series, both AD and LeBron and Steph and Clay average pretty similar numbers, but the Lakers are coming up with the goods so far. Tyson, as the resident Lakers fan, I'm going to swing to you first on your thoughts of this series, but who wins Game 4 and who wins the series?
Lakers and Lakers. They are just, you can't beat them. They're playing some bloody good basketball. Besides that, game 3, which is, sorry, I don't know, game 2, was it?
Yeah.
Game 2.
yeah, game two.
It's a bit questionable, but that's all right. We live with it. LeBron and AD did bounce back, but no one can stop AD when he's going off. He controls the game himself, and we saw in game 3, LeBron sort of chilled back for a bit. He didn't get his first points until, what was it, second quarter, second half, something like that. And so he was letting everyone else do their thing, which worked. And then LeBron decided to be LeBron when he needed to. He turned up, got his quick 20 points.
He is him.
Yeah,
He
that
is
was it.
him.
He can do everything. He's all over the floor. I've seen a lot of angry Warriors fans saying, "Oh, it's all about the free throws, blah 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 blah." Drive to the rim net, like they're shooting at like 53s a game, and Lakers are one of the teams that don't foul as much. Like we give up very little fouls. Warriors are lousy. They foul, turn over the ball too much, and that's just that. So yeah, I just see the Lakers taking them out. Probably in
Yeah,
5 now, if I'm being honest.
I agree with T-Man there. I think the Lakers will win the next game. I think we've seen now that Golden State aren't invincible at home as they were, in the season, and we saw that in game 1 that they can lose at home, and LeBron's balling, AD's balling. He's doing a bit of game on, game off type things.
Very
though,
much so.
Yeah.
but no, I think they're probably going to step up, and I think a lot of it rides on obviously Steph and Clay putting up numbers, but also that crew. Like I think Draymond needs a big performance again. I think that supporting cast needs to put on a show. So
Draymond got into foul trouble early.
yeah,
I noticed last game, and that like killed them defensively.
I mean, yeah, he's such a rock on defense that
He's
they,
just
they
a
need him
cone.
in. Yeah, they need him. They need him in. They need him in the the dying stages. But I think it's Lakers and Lakers for both of your questions.
Reuben, your thoughts?
Well, look, I agree with Oscar. I have the Lakers winning Game 4 just because the Warriors' record away is terrible, and then I have Warriors winning Game 5 because they're really good at home, and I have Lakers winning again in Game 6 because I think Crypto Arena will be up for it, so that's why I have Lakers in 6. But I think if the Lakers are going to win Game 4, it comes down to two factors. And for me, it's Anthony Davis has to be Anthony Davis because we've seen he can be up to the level of Giannis Antetokounmpo, but if he's off, he looks like Bismack Biyombo. So he has to be at the top of his A
I
game
like that.
for the Lakers to win because his numbers are really impactful. And I think the second biggest factor is how well Jared Vanderbilt locks up Stephen Curry because he's one of the most underrated defenders in the league. it's not just about defending Curry when he has the ball. It's about the off-ball defense as well and making sure he follows Curry's, doesn't give him an easy shot. So I think it comes down to Anthony Davis and how well Jared Vanderbilt locks up Steph Curry.
Reuben's finished straight facts, except Bismack Biyombo, fantastic player.
know
In his
about that.
day, fantastic
Yeah,
player.
listen, I hate to disagree with you guys, but it seems to be happening quite a bit. I do think the Lakers are still going to win this series because, like I said from the start, I believe that the Lakers are a better team than the Warriors, and I think LeBron just has the edge over all of them. Whether he's putting up the stats or not, I think psychologically there's an edge there. But for this game 4,
Do you think
I don't
they're
think they're going to win the next game. I think the Warriors are going to win game 4. And I personally just believe that the Warriors aren't going to bow down this easily to the Lakers. And we haven't yet seen the best of Steph and Clay. Steph's only averaging 23 points for the series. He averaged 30 last series against Sacramento Kings. So I think that Steph Curry is due for an explosion. Now, Reuben, that begs the question of the defense of the Lakers. And I got to give credit to the Lakers. They've played some very good defense on Steph Curry, but I think he's also been his own worst enemy at times, and he's been second-guessing his decisions. I don't think Steph and Clay can both average 23 points per game for the Warriors to win Game 4. They're going to need some extra production from Steph. But, Oscar, you touched on the point, the supporting cast. The Lakers have 6 players in total averaging double-figure points for the series, and that's not including Austin Reeves, who's only averaging 9 points a game. For the series, we've seen Lonnie Walker come out of nowhere and average double figures. Like, where is this coming from? So the Lakers, in each playoff series, continue to have players that can step up at any given moment. And this is something the Warriors haven't been having. Draymond had that big performance in Game 5 against Sacramento. He's going to probably have 1, maybe 2 games where he has an offensive performance. Poole's averaging 10 points a game. He's still not playing good. But I think the Warriors are going to conjure something up for this next game. But I think the Lakers will win Game 5 and wrap it up in Game 6.
I can't believe you're hating on Lonnie like that.
He
When
was,
he's
but
playing
I'm
for
just
the
saying,
Spurs,
but
he's
he
balling.
played for the...
If you give Lonnie minutes,
Lonnie
If you give Lonnie minutes, he's gonna get buckets,
game
bro. That's
time
what he
against the
does.
Grizzlies, and he's just come in all of a sudden, and he started playing well, similar to Hachimura. He didn't do much in the regular season. He was solid, but then we saw him in Memphis just go and absolutely play really good. Hachimura's averaging 57% from 3 for the playoffs.
One
Like,
series at a time. One series
Yeah.
at a time
Second
will give you a new
highest
player.
in the playoffs.
well,
right
he's
now.
just been completely
Troy
out of the
Brown Jr.
rotation.
No, Max Christie next series. Boom.
This Lakers defense is not a fluke, and the Sacramento Kings had a bottom 5 defense in the regular
Well,
season. So I'm not
AD's
shocked
averaging
Curry
4
averaged
blocks a
30
game.
against the Kings. The Lakers
That
have had a
says
good defense. Well, yeah,
But it's also like Game 3, we were so much on a roll on offense that Vando
15
barely even
minutes.
played that much. We didn't need him that much. So he's going to be really he's going to be well rested for the next game. If you're supposedly Curry goes off,
yeah, look,
Vando's
he
ready
played
for it. He's got
15
energy.
minutes, but he was also
He did the
0
same
from
thing he
5
did.
from the field. So I think if he had been a bit more efficient, he would have probably played a bit more. I know.
But that's all right because we had other
I know,
players
I'm just
doing
saying.
it. Lonnie Walker.
Didn't
So it's
need him out there.
If one person's out, the next person steps up. So it's fine.
Yeah,
I
listen.
think it's definitely fine.
No, go Oscar.
Yeah, I think it's gonna come down to Anthony
And
day to
that's-
day.
That's the one thing that
So,
scares me.
if
Is
he
like you
plays
said,
well-
Oscar, he's 1 game on, 1 game off. And at this rate, that means the Lakers will win in 7. But I don't think AD's going to have a good game tomorrow, and I think the Warriors have to capitalize off of it.
Yeah,
We will see, but
we'll
we
see.
will
We'll see
switch
tomorrow.
gears into quite possibly the most debated series we have had on this show. The Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. They faced off today. Philadelphia won, tied the series up 2-2, winning 116-115 in overtime. James Harden, with his second 40-point game of the series, a clutch floater to send it to overtime, and a go-ahead 3 with 18 seconds to go to win the game for Philadelphia. Harden and Embiid combined for 76, while Tatum and Brown combined for 46. So clearly a big difference in the star power. Reuben, I'm going to ask you first. How do you think the rest of this series plays out?
I still have Philadelphia winning, but if they are to win, I really think that James Harden will be James Harden. Yes, he's had off games, but there's been evidence in the series he can play like the Houston Harden of like 3 or 4 years ago. And Embiid's an MVP caliber player. He's averaging really good numbers. So I think if Philadelphia are to win the series, I really think that Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris have to step it up because I'm just looking at the numbers here, and I think Tyrese Maxey in the last 4 games against Celtics, he's been averaging 17, 5, and 2. Like, that doesn't sound too bad. But then when you look at the last three, he gone 13, 13, and 14. And he's shooting 29% from three, which is usually a 43% three-point shooter. And then Tobias Harris as well. I think he got into foul trouble early, I think, last game. So he only got 7 and 9 points in the last 2 games. But he needs to be averaging like 15 to 17 for Philadelphia to have a chance. So I think Philadelphia will still win in 6 or 7. I will say 6. But I think if they were to win, it comes down to Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris's output.
I mean, he's right, but James Harden is him. Like, if you can put on that performance, we know he can put on that performance. You two are down there, Tyson and Luka, little haters. You know, saying
not hating.
it's Luka especially.
Not hating.
He's a little hater on James. Oh, he wasn't like he is in Houston. He's playoff James. He's him, and I do agree that it does for the whole series. It does come back. It comes down to Tobias and what's his name, Tyrese Maxey, because they can put on a brilliant performance. Tobias had a shocker. What he had 9 points last game.
And then 7 the game before.
7 the game before. I mean, like, he's usually Mr. Consistent, Mr. 15, 20 points, and he hasn't been doing that. But I still think as well that 76ers. I'm gonna still say 7. But yeah, just the depth of the Celtics is just getting outplayed by these two beautiful players in Embiid and James Harden. And then with the supporting cast to follow up in the next few games, it's gonna be a bloodbath. Bloodbath, baby.
Look, I do agree. I'm all for Harden. Like, I do love him. I would love him to keep doing his thing, like getting these numbers like he did in Houston. But if I'm being honest, like Reuben was saying, like, everyone else needs to step up as well. You know, like GB, and what's his name, Maxey. He needs to really pull their weight, you know, and do what they need to do as well. But with the Celtics, they had that game, but sadly just blew it last second. Poor defensive decision by Jaylen Brown. You know, twos are better than threes.
They should have won by more. It was a push off by bloody Jason.
It was two. He had two hands on him though. So
it was a push off. Mate, as soon as that arm extends, as soon as that arm extends,
like that, it extended.
Doc Rivers is correct. It was a push off. Terrible call by the ref. Yeah,
I mean, it could go either way because he did have two hands on him. So, like, look.
I mean, those bad calls
I
are part
still
of the game.
have yeah, those calls are gonna get make or break. But I still have Celtics in 7. I still think they have some left in the tank. They're not done yet. They can control it when they need to, and I think that should be said.
Well, Embiid's not done. He's had a horrible playoff series, and he's just starting to step it up now. So.
Well, listen, that you all touched on a lot of great points, and there's a lot that I want to get into. But, Oscar, I'm going to start with what you said. I'd never said that James Harden wasn't his Houston self. I still believe he is. I still believe he is that player, a player that plays well in the regular season and comes up short in the playoffs, and I stand by that. Look, I will give it to you. He has had 2 of the best playoff games I've ever seen him play. And in the same breath that Reuben was getting mad at Tobias Harris for having 9 points and 7 points, why are we not going to hold James Harden to that same standard when he's had 16 points and 12 points in games 2 and 3? Well, not when it's on 20% field goal shooting.
It's a good little game, mate. It's a decent little game.
Because he's still putting up monstrous numbers in game
but
1 and 4.
When the whole season his role has been less offensive output, more being that playmaker guy, and then he comes into the playoffs to do the same thing, and then he steps up.
Listen,
that's what you want from your star player. You want him to step up in those big moments when he's played a different role the whole season.
As much James Harden steps up, he's going to let you down.
Spitting
if
over
not
here.
more. And that's going to show in the next 2 games when Boston is going to win the next 2 games and they're going to win this series in 6 games. Now, I saw some things I liked from Boston. I saw some things I didn't like. Now, I think Jason Tatum needs to step up his play. He's averaging 24 points and 12 rebounds. He's not playing well. Jaylen Brown, he's been playing better out of the 2 of them, if I'm being honest. I do agree it was a push-off. I think Philadelphia probably should have won the game a bit more comfortably than they did. But I just think that at the end of the day, Boston have the depth. And I believe that the star power of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown will play better than they are, and the depth will continue to play the same. Well, yes, there is. They went in the finals.
There's no
run
evidence
last year,
of
so
that.
there is
You're
evidence
pulling
of that.
out of your ass.
They beat Milwaukee. No, because this is
And
the
then
goal.
what, in the
The
big
Philadelphia
moment,
76ers,
in
who have
the
done
big moments, they
absolutely
started
nothing
choking.
in the
Besides,
Joel
they got
Embiid era, are not the
lives.
same as the Golden State Warriors, who are 4-time NBA champions, with the Splash Brothers being there. You cannot compare those 2 teams. You cannot compare
Mate,
those 2 teams.
They had that
Listen,
championship on a
this is the
twine
thing.
and they
Star
choked
power
it.
versus depth. It's the same thing in the next series we're going to talk about. The Suns and the Nuggets. But unfortunately, sometimes when star power
Give me
doesn't
star
come
power in
through,
the playoffs,
you need
baby.
to rely on some depth. And this is depth that Philadelphia have not shown that they've had in this playoff series. Do they have it? Yes. But they haven't shown they've had it. They only have 3 players averaging double-digit points. The Celtics have 6. Okay, and that's going to show in these next 2 games, particularly when Boston go back home and they are going to make a statement in this Game 5 after coming so close in Game 4 when realistically they shouldn't have won. They came back from 16 points down in the 4th quarter to take a lead. Now, that's going to be signs of things to come. Well,
But that's just NBA for you though. That's just what happens. I'm convinced it's I don't know. I think there's some sketchy stuff because the amount of 20-point leads that people
really
play
what
on
it
the
comes
NBA
down
is
to. But
unbelievable.
look, we've seen the best of James Harden,
Well, that
and
has to
to
do
be
with the
honest,
three-point
I think this is the best
Yeah.
we're going to see. I don't think he's going to play like this again, and I want to be proven wrong. I want James Harden to prove me wrong, but
Oh my God, he's
like
an
I
MVP
can say,
fella.
and like I continue to say, he is an elite scorer, but most of the time, history repeats itself, and I
Elite
believe it's going to
scorer.
repeat itself again. I'm not saying he can't change my mind, but I need to see it happen before I get converted to the other side. What do you mean back and forth, Price? I'm just saying.
Luka back and forth price over here. Goodness me.
Yeah, well, he can.
Goodness
He
me.
can change my mind, but he's not going to. Just like Bob,
Oh, he
just
can
like
change
should
your mind to me,
when
yeah,
he
in a couple of
absolutely
days'
sticks it
time.
up, and then what are you gonna say after that? You'll think. Well, that's what I'm saying. He's probably gonna change your mind too when you
I'll
realize
think
he
of
does the same thing. Playoff series after playoff
Yeah,
series
there's always
after
a rebuttal.
playoff series. That's fine.
I don't see Jason Tatum's MVP. That's all. I'm
Okay,
saying.
Jalen.
If I don't see
James
the
Harden
Celtics
hasn't been in the
have a
finals.
convincing
Has that
enough
bum ass
chance.
trophy
So
win a
MVP
series.
finals, I don't know.
I see them bottling.
Okay, well now.
They should have made it in 2018, but
now
Chris
we're
Paul
just
got
getting
injured. They're
into
up
ifs,
3-2.
buts, and whatever. So
And you
I
know
don't-
all about
I don't
Chris
think
Paul
that's
getting
gonna be
injured.
productive. Tyson, I'm going to give you the final word before we move on to our next series. You look like you have something to say.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. Well, great point by Oscar. History, or who said it? Well, Luka. History
Luka.
repeats itself. If we're going by that, Celtics Lakers final, we all know how it's going to work, all right?
Yeah.
So, no,
I do like that. I do like that
There we
final.
go.
I do like that
There we go.
final.
It's coming home. It's coming home. Like a nation. That's all I'm going to say. But no,
I don't want
do
that
have
final,
We
Celtics.
got
but I
two
do like
Celtics,
it.
two
I do have
76ers.
Celtics winning that.
Game
Yeah,
5 in a
76,
couple of days' time
Yeah.
at the TD Garden in Boston. All eyes will be on that game. We will definitely be debating the series before it's over.
Ooh.
Oof. Okay. Well.
I'm taking.
Well.
I'm taking
we
that number
will
one
see.
spot
Check
off
out our
team and
Instagram
their
to see those
predictions, that's all I'm
predictions.
saying.
I think
No,
I'm
you
not-
wish.
Yeah, they're not
You
done
wish.
yet. But Listen, we're going to switch gears, guys, over back to the Western Conference where the
I'm not
Denver
done yet.
Nuggets
I'm
and
not
the
done yet.
Phoenix Suns, this series itself is starting to heat up. Denver took a 2-0 series lead. They held home court. Phoenix have returned the favor and tied the series up at 2-2. The Phoenix Suns won 129-124. Today, what an offensive performance from both sides of the court. Jokic was the first center to ever have 50 points and 10 assists in a playoff game. Jamal Murray helped him out with 28, but Devin Booker and Kevin Durant combined for 72 points today. They combined for 86 points in Game 3, both without Chris Paul. In today's game in particular, Game 4, Landry Shamet proved to be the difference off the bench. 19 points on 5 3-pointers made. I have so much to say about this series, but Oscar, I'm going to go to you first. Has your opinion of this series changed after Chris Paul's injury?
Well, yeah, obviously, I thought it was going to be. I thought the Suns were going to be a bit more competitive in game 1 and 2, but obviously they weren't. However, they have come back beautifully with 2 absolute ballers and put on a show for us fans. So I mean, it has changed, but my prediction's not changing. I think Suns in 7 still, and but obviously Chris Paul out just does change the dynamic of the team because other people do need to step up that aren't getting paid as much as Chris Paul. So yeah, so I still think the Suns are going to win because mate. What an offensive squad those two are. I know Jokic put 53, but goodness gracious me, KD and Devin Booker. Nothing against Jokic, but yeah, I just think the rest of that team needs to step up, and I think the Suns are stepping up more than that Nuggets team in these last 2 games anyway. The last 2 games anyway.
Definitely.
We'll see how we go in the next few.
It was actually crazy because I was speaking to Reuben last night about the series, and I was saying how since CP's out, like the Suns, you know who the ball's going to go to, either D-Book or KD. So whatever happens to them, they're gonna get all your points, whatnot. But I was telling Rubes, if Suns have to win, their role players are going to step up. And what did Landry Shamet do today?
And is he going to get 17 again?
Almost 20 on your head, Doc. Almost
He's
20
never
on your
going to
head.
get 17
But
again.
it doesn't always have to be him. It can be a different guy each game, like the Lakers are doing.
Like I'm saying,
Like with Towel boys that make up the rest of their team. They don't have anyone else. They're going to be janitors next year, bro.
Like I said, if you're going to spend your time double teaming either KD or D-Book, they prove they got
and they're still putting buckets on your head.
Well, who's stopping Jokic? Who's stopping Jokic?
They don't need to stop Jokic. They just need to
yeah.
outscore Jokic. That's all they're going to do at the minute.
And Michael Porter Jr. has been playing terrible. So is Aaron Gordon. They've been stinking it up. They don't usually have this terrible output.
Well, maybe that's just worse than the Suns then. So, like,
the Suns rely on 2 stars.
And they won 2 games. It's 2-2.
They rely on 2 stars, and you guys try to double team them. So kick the rock out.
And you still can't outscore them.
Shamet's there, Corey Craig, Bogey, you name it. They'll shoot it. Like that's what they're there for. They understand their role. They know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
but it was a crazy bucket by KD. With
that was
old
crazy.
Man Green,
that
2 hands in the face. No, 2 hands in the face.
Was that buzzer beater? Yeah, that was crazy.
Do you see the one with the 2 hands in the face?
Look,
was that the first quarter one? No.
That was nice.
You guys underestimate Jokic. He's going to put... They've been home for the last 2 games.
Okay,
Reuben, they've been home for the last 2 games, and he's going to turn it up in Game 5.
Reuben, what we've been saying is Jokic isn't the problem. The problem is the rest of the team. Jokic is going to have a good game no matter what. We know this. We've been saying this, okay? He's not the issue. He's going to have a good game no matter what, as he does. It's about the rest of that squad and being able to outscore, first of all, Jokic, and then locking up the rest of that squad. Because Jokic is going to have a good game it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where he is. He's going to have a good game. So I think it's about locking up the rest of that team, and Jokic is just going to do his thing because he's a I hate to say it, but he's a bit of a baller.
Well, look,
No,
I mean,
I
like
do.
I don't see like Booker and KD averaging consistently the same amount over the
But see,
next
I
three.
do. I see it. It's Kevin Durant and Devin
I
Booker,
do. Oh,
offensive
that's what I was saying.
masters.
That's what I was
They are
saying.
masters. It's not like
Regardless of it, like
it's.
they're
You go
gonna
to.
have like, I was trying to tell Ruben, like Ruben doesn't think these players are gonna average that much, but of course they're gonna average that much. They're their only
They
scorers.
have to.
They're,
Yeah.
they're gonna put up these numbers regardless. But it's just gonna be a matter of are their role players gonna step up defensively and offensively, and
And it
we showed it today. They've just stepped up.
And no,
Like,
we're not looking at it. We're not looking at like a James Harden case where they have to step up in the moment. It's Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, two of probably the best
That's good
offensive
scorers.
scorers in the league. You're talking about two amazing scorers. They have to step up. They will
does
step
not
up.
contribute
We're
to
not
winning
looking
though.
at.
Because last season,
It
look
does
at the Nets.
contribute to winning.
Look at
Look at
the
the
Nets
last two
versus Celtics. The
games.
Celtics
70
swept the
points.
Nets when they had just two stars, two scoring stars. Two
It,
scoring stars does not contribute to a title.
it may not contribute to a title, but it does contribute. It can contribute to wins, and that's what we've seen the last two games. Is that if they ball out and they are balling out, they're going to win the game, and it's going to be close. We know it's going to be close. We
Oscar,
all said it was going to
I
happen in
think you hit the
seven,
head on the
but
nail, and
it's just
I
who
was
can.
very impressed with
It's
how
literally at the
Phoenix
moment who can
responded.
outscore the other
I
team.
did still think they were going to win game three. Game four, I wasn't so sure. But the first thing I said to myself after Chris Paul went down is I think for the time being, this could actually be a positive thing for the Suns because now this forces Kevin Durant to be Kevin Durant because I thought he was too passive. Because he was too passive. For the whole Clippers series and the whole first two games of the Denver series, Kevin Durant was too passive. He was letting Devin
Which he
Booker do
wasn't
his
in.
thing,
Yeah.
and when he would just get the kick out and he'd either just shoot or he'd take one dribble and he'd shoot. Now, without Chris Paul, Devin Booker has taken more of a primary ball handler role, and Kevin Durant is forced to be the elite scorer he is. 39 points in game three, 36 points in game four today. Now, Reuben, you also had a very good point. I am so disappointed in Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon because right now, Jokic and Murray are having the set. No. Like, you can give me Aaron Gordon because Aaron Gordon is inconsistent. He had more of an apparition.
But they've
He
been
had more of an
bumming it the whole
apparition in the
season.
Minnesota series. But Michael Porter Jr. is a legit third option.
Aaron
He is a
Gordon's having
legit third
career
option.
season.
Okay, and he needs to find his form because right now what we're seeing is Jokic and Murray and Booker and Durant they're matching each other in production. That's what we're seeing right now. And this was a game where you needed a Porter Jr. or you needed an Aaron Gordon to step up. But instead, it was Landry Shamet who stepped up and provided the difference for Phoenix that they've been longing for from a player to come off the bench and do that. Because that's something they haven't had. They've been too reliant on their starters. Now, if Landry Shamet's going to average 20 points a game for the rest of the series, Phoenix are going to win. But I believe that, one, he will come back down to earth. But not even that. I believe that Denver need to have better production out of their other role players, especially when Jokic and Murray can match the production of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. The thing that scares me for Phoenix is that if Chris Paul comes back and we see Kevin Durant have this play with this aggressiveness and tenacity that he has in these last two games, Denver could be in trouble. But at the end of the day, I just think that Denver's experience is going to work in this series and that they're going to win. I'm riding with Jokic and Jamal Murray. But for what it's worth, in my opinion, Devin Booker has been the best player throughout these whole playoff series. You can say playoff Jimmy, but for me, it's been Booker who has been playing the most consistently. I didn't think he's going to average 36 points a game in this series like he did against the Clippers. And what's he done? He's honestly probably playing just as good, if not better, against a better opponent too than he did in the first round.
Mm,
Mm. We'll give it to Booker. He has stepped up
yeah,
like massively.
exactly. And
Absolute
if you
bucket getter.
have Michael never swing the rock, Porter Jr. pulling those transition threes again. Look, I'm sorry to say, I don't
Yeah,
think
well,
Nuggets will
listen,
Michael,
he,
20% from the
amount
field,
to.
Porter
Yeah,
Jr.
but it's also
Jesus.
Kevin Durant's always been Mr. Efficient. He always tries to get really efficient scoring performances. But
he is trying to
I
get the
think this
buckets. He's
series
only
is
averaging
he's trying to
25% from three, though,
actually get
which
the
is the
point.
most
I think you
remarkable
sort of
thing
drop your Mr.
throughout this
Efficiency
series.
title. I think you just want to get the
Well,
Nuggets
he
now.
was,
So
yeah, 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 exactly. That is the
He's just
thing.
yakking
But
him up,
look,
though.
Game
yeah, he
five
just has to
back in
shoot.
Denver.
He just
That
has
is
got-
going to
who
be
else
one
is
to
shooting?
watch to
LeBron
see if
numbers
You're gonna yak him up.
Phoenix can steal home court and get back to Game 6 at home. But we are going to move on to the final series, the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. Miami
It's a
leads the
massive
series
game
2-1. They
5,
won
massive.
Game 3, 105-86 after Jimmy Butler returned following an ankle injury that saw him out for Game 2
Miami,
in
baby.
New York. Butler had 28 points in Game 3. Max Strus was the next best player for the Heat, scoring 19 points. The Knicks had an absolutely terrible offensive night. No one on the team shot better than 50%. As a team, they shot 20%, but Miami wasn't better. They shot 22% from three-point range. So both teams have been pretty poor offensively, and it's really just been a defensive slugfest out there. Both teams seem to be clamping the other up. But, Tyson, I'm going to head back to you. You put New York as winners in this series, along with myself. Reuben and Oscar both have the Heat. What do you think the Knicks need to do to turn this series around?
I did. Yes. Look, well, you and I both established that RJ Barrett needs to step up, but
Bum
I
ass
think he
Barrett.
has. I think he has stepped up to a certain point. However, Brunson and Randall have stepped down. That's the only issue. So when Randall and Brunson have stepped up, RJ Barrett needs to step up, and that will obviously execute perfectly, get the dub. But when RJ's stepping up and these guys are bumming out, shooting bad, and Julius Randle just turning back into Lakers Julius Randle, it's getting a bit tough. It's getting a bit tough,
Damn.
and this is when teams that Jimmy Butler versus, like when he starts getting these dubs and they're losing, he gets very hot and he gets on a
They
streak.
crumble, bro. They
And
crumble.
this is where like he took advantage of Milwaukee going crazy, got the dub. But I still think Knicks are there. They're, as an elite analyst myself, I still have the Knicks winning. I still have the Knicks winning. They can pull it off. They'll bounce back, just shrug it off, no biggie, and they'll bounce back. I really think they can.
Personally, Tyson, I think you're an idiot. We've seen what Jimmy Butler can do and what he's doing. Oh my God, what a player! What a player! The defense on this Heat team, both teams at the end of the day, but this Heat team's just they're showing a bit more ticker out there. Can still able to score over the top of this good New York defense, even though it's not that efficient. They're still slugging it out and putting up buckets. So I don't know. I got the Heat winning this because Jimmy buckets. If they win the next game, it's game over. So it's pretty much series over. So I got Jimmy the buckets, Butler winning this series for the Heat, and then they're gonna get knocked out in the next series.
Look,
So
yeah, like people forget that last season the Heat were the second seed, and they made it to the conference finals and took the Celtics to 7 games. They were a top defensive
and
team.
they were there for Mickey Mouse. They were there for Mickey Mouse as well.
Exactly. Like they've been a top defensive team this season. The problems have been is the offense. Like I think for this series it was really even, but I think the reason I chose the Heat is playoff Jimmy because we've seen like he can pop off. But I think for
He
the
just
Heat,
doesn't stop.
I know. Well, I think for the Heat to win as well, they need that second star to like turn up as well. And it doesn't matter who it is. Like for me, it should be Bam Adebayo because people recognize
He's
him as
so,
an all-star player. But there are times where he's like Anthony Davis, where he can average
so
25 and
inconsistent.
10, or he can be 8 and 6. So last game was Max Strus. He had 19 points, which was really impressive. So if they keep having that second player step up for them, the Heat are going to go far because they have that grit and grind defense
Yeah, look,
that locked up
I'm
the
very
Bucks last
disappointed
series.
with the play of New
So
York.
I think for me, I've got the
And
Heat winning in 6.
Julius Randle looks like he's playing
6.
injured out there. He's averaging
6.
17 and 13 on 36% field goal shooting. He doesn't look like himself. He
You
looks
guys are
he looks
riding
like
him
a
as
shadow
well.
of himself. Now, whether that's because he's still playing without confidence or whether that's the Miami defense locking him up, but I've seen Julius Randle hit game winners on the Miami Heat this year in the regular season, so I know he's capable of putting up good performances. So for me, he needs to be the one that steps up. Jalen Brunson himself isn't playing that great either, but he didn't have his best statistical series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was how he controlled the game and how he made shots when it mattered the most. Now, the games at this point are just getting so out of hand. And the thing that scares me is Jimmy Butler wasn't even there in game 2 and Miami were in a position to win the game. Now, that is major concern for me at rooting for the Knicks. However, I believe that they have more to give in this series. And thinking about it, if they win tomorrow, they have game 5 on their home court and can take back the advantage in the series. But listen, I just think that New York, and the reason this series, like the Cleveland series, was a bit more of a
If
gut
they don't
feeling.
win
I just
tomorrow,
believe
it's
they're made
game
of the right
over.
stuff. They are made of the right stuff. And that's, well, they are. Well, everyone thought, well, not everyone, but most people thought that Cleveland
And the
were made
Heat
of the right
aren't.
stuff too, and they
Look at
got
that
exposed
team.
being the frauds they are.
They're made of Michael's
Listen,
secret stuff, bro.
Listen, Jimmy Butler played great against the Bucks, and he's playing good against the Knicks, but
They
he's
have
averaging
Michael
27
Jordan's
a night for
baby
the
on the
series,
bloody
and he hasn't
court,
made a
and you
single
think they're not gonna
three-pointer
win.
in the 2 games he's played. So he is not shooting New York out of the gym. Reuben, yes, you're right. He's averaging 9 points a game for the series, and he's a 6th Man of the Year finalist. So
Samuel quickly needs to step up.
he does need to step up. But for what I'm seeing, the Knicks offense is too stagnant, and they're not getting good quality shots.
He was a 6-man of the year
Brunson needs to
candidate,
step it up, and Julius Randle needs to dig deep and step it up. Now, we are going to have to end the episode shortly, so whoever wants to have the final word can have the final word. I'll leave it to the 3 of you to decide.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Knicks in 3.
Knicks in 3.
It's a 3, what? Sorry?
No, I think you're still both. We are still forgetting about who is him, and playoff Jimmy is him.
Jimmy Butler.
You guys are still forgetting.
You just said Harden's him. Who's him?
Yeah, no, but Jimmy is properly him. Like we
Nikola
said,
Jokic
it's
is him.
consistent. Jimmy's consistently him. Last series,
I'm not
we
forgetting about
all
him.
said
I
together,
recognize
we
that
were
he's
here
there.
together, and we said we forgot about Jimmy Butler and forgot about playoff Jimmy. And now you two are coming into this series again, forgetting about Jimmy Butler. Well, you apparently are. Have you seen what he's been doing on the court? He's unbelievable when he's out there. He doesn't need 3 points. He goes to the rack. He balls out. He loves his middies. He doesn't need those 3 points when you got Max Drew shooting his bloody shooting the threes. You got these other guys shooting the threes.
Vincent.
He's doing the proper thing, and that's putting his head down, going to the rack when times are tough in this New York defense. And I think that is the stuff that you need to be made of, not this stuff like Julius Randle putting up 11 points. Your star players putting up 11 points.
You guys want Miami? Tyson and I are on New York. We'll see who comes out on top. But that is all for our episode today, guys. We will have to go. We will be sure to be back. Hopefully, we get some Game 7s in the second round, so we will be back for another episode. I think we'll at least get one. With a bit of luck, maybe 2 or 3. But that is all, ladies and gentlemen, for episode 30 of Priceless Takes. Hopefully, Steph Curry can give us 30 points tomorrow and make that Lakers-Warriors series competitive. We will see how it turns out. Make sure to keep following us on our social media. We have Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We love the follower engagement. Boys, thank you for being on here with me again. I appreciate it. And we will see you next time. Priceless Takes, episode 30. I am your host, Luka Price. Thank you for listening.